Now let's talk about Shoprite. Of course, this is one of our large players, founded by Christo Visa and by Wati Basson, and it's been probably the boldest with regard to broader sub-Saharan expansion. They've got a sizable business in Nigeria and in Angola, and here at home they're very strong. They've probably been the one local retailer, as Wayne insinuated earlier, that has gained most market share at the expense of others. But of course, it isn't a one-way street. Pick n Pay has been in a bit of a resurgence. Market capitalization, 107.9 billion rands. Price earnings ratio 20.78, dividend yield of 2.42. Let's go straight to the share price, because whilst it has done well, it's been fairly volatile, because the ranges there are from like 135 to 200 plus share price rands per share.
Look, when you look at Shoprite, as we spoke about, they are clearly the leaders. They've gobbled up market share from just about everyone, and Pick n Pay is starting to come back now, but they just ate Pick n Pay's lunch for many, many years. So they've done well. When you look at the current results, obviously the African operations, while they're growing, the currencies where they operate have been devalued massively. So the net return from their African story has actually not been that good over the last while.
So high rates of growth, because obviously, you know, if
there's no one else there.
Exactly, they just dominate.
They dominate totally. There's no one else
and
there.
And they sell everything. If you go into a Shoprite, for example, you can buy everything from groceries to running shoes.
Yes. Now look, they do extremely well there because there is very little competition. Look, they had massive problems, as everyone else did, getting the stock on the shelf because there was no foreign exchange to buy it, to actually get it in. But when you take into account the rand earnings, it's not looking that good, eh?
Yeah, which is kind of like, you got to accept that comes rough with the smooth.
That's part of the cycle.
At some point, those countries were doing fabulously. Oil was high. I guess oil is looking a little bit better
happier,
now.
So maybe they will recover a little bit.
And the core business here, what about the fact that Wati Basson is stepping down?
Look, that's not good news, because this effectively
is
his
company. He couldn't stay forever.
No, he couldn't stay forever, clearly. But it's not good news. I mean, one man, one person doesn't drive an organization like that. But he had such an influence on the culture, how it works. They've always had reasonably good labor relations with their unions, so he'll be sorely missed. I mean, clearly, as you said, no one can stay forever, but it is negative for them.
Now, importantly, we know that Christo Visa sort of owns somehow about 20%, maybe speaks for a little bit more of the total shareholder base here. There is persistent market chatter.
Long story.
That perhaps there could be a combination of Steinhoff and Shoprite down the line. What do you think?
It could easily be. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that Steinhoff's a global company doing furniture essentially in Europe.
But they own Pepkor as well, which is clothing, not food, to be honest.
Look, there could be something happening. I would be a little bit cautious now as a shareholder for that to happen, simply because Steinhoff's got enough stuff to do with all the latest acquisitions they've made.
If it were to be done, it would be an all-scrip combination.
Yes, it would be. It definitely
so that would kind of work, but then, of course, you have
to
get
Shoprite runs, so I mean, Steinhoff won't have to come in and fix anything. Whereas the mattress world and all these other things, Poundland and all of these things, they got to fix them. They got to fix them. But look, it could happen, and these rumors have been around for a very long time.
It almost depends whether or not the Steinhoff board wants more emerging market exposure in what it's selling to its investors as its value proposition, and I'm not sure if that is the case.
Well, look, we'll have to see. I mean, Marcus is a very shrewd operator, so he's not going to do anything with Steinhoff. I don't think he won't do anything that's to the detriment of his current shareholders. But Shoprite, done well, high PE, latest trading results were actually quite good.
Yeah, they were better than expected, which is why that share price has sort of gone back up again.
Even though the earnings, you know, roughly speaking, if I see a 20 PE plus on a company, I want earnings to be 20+% growth on the previous year. And it wasn't quite there. It was about, was it 13 or 14%, somewhere around there. So maybe the share price is over discounting a little bit. Maybe the rating's a little bit too high, considering the fact, and we'll talk about it now, we talk about Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay is making a resurgence. I mean, there are now definitively more competition to Shoprite than what they have been for many, many years. But I still quite like Shoprite, yes.
Right, good. We're going to go hot on that one as well.